for your listeners, MoKenStef wrote our own music. There was only one song that we didn't write. It was a remake. But I continued doing that, and I also did features with because I wanted to still continue being in the game when MoKenStef kind of went separated for a little bit. I chose to do some features with E40 and showing my rap skills, because that's a that's how we, there's things that people didn't know. Some people, as they bought the album as is, know that they just thought we were just these R&B queens, and that was not true. We R&B and hip hop. So I was a rapstress. Right. So that's things. So for your listeners to know, so I had some stuff that I did on features with E40 and Snoop with this other group called The Relatives from the West Side. I was featured on their album. So Snoop was on the feature with the song that I was on. So that was a great thing. Got to show my rap skills and stuff, and did like an independent movie that I did called Tapped Out, featured in that. So just, and then also, real estate, like Kenya said, bought some property and just trying to, stay, but at the, but in that time frame, there was some, stress, there was good moments. And then there was like, depression. And I talk about in the book, like Kenya said, I came up with I brought the girls back together to do our book, Unfinished Business. So I talk about, the life of, I wanted them, it was just a blessing that they said yes. Because it's nice to be able to hear three people's perspectives. And when you're writing, because when you have a group, a lot of times you don't have everybody's participation to talk about what's going on many years later. You know what I mean? This is like 20 years of the game, and to be able to be, to be able to come back together and talk about our book that's coming out soon, Unfinished Business. We talk about the unfinished business. So when I talk about the depression and stress and happiness, but life comes full circle and that we're survivors. And I'm just being real about, because people like to say everything is good, and everything wasn't good through the whole time. Yes. But we overcame that. We overcame it. Like I overcame it, and so I'm so blessed, to be a survivor in this game, the whole game, from music to just regular life. Life game. Yeah.
Because it looks like from each one of you guys saying what it is that you've been up to, you have created a solid foundation for yourselves, and also been able to continue on with the unity that you guys have. Not many female groups have the ability to do that, because it's hard, because each one of you guys have your own goals and aspirations, like you want husbands and kids and all of that. Yes. And in this business, it just seemed like us as women, we're so pigeonholed. Y'all worried about if we gonna get pregnant. You worried about if I got somebody in my ear, that I want to marry, that he's influencing. And you want to dictate what comes out of my mouth here as far as the subject matter. And I really like how you guys have always been individually outspoken and together in unison outspoken. And that's not seen much. It's usually each person is sort of trying to go behind the others without the group knowing what the feeling is. But you guys always had that amongst yourselves and came together towards the label or the management cohesively with one voice. How difficult is that for a girl group to do? Because we can't even decide what hairstyle we want sometimes. Tell us a little bit about how you guys got that worked out.
I think we are, we're all born in September. Okay. We're 7 days maximum apart.
Wow.
We've all graduated in the same year. It's just so many things that I can't even say a list of things that we have in common. And so I guess one of the things we had in common is we had the same definition and understanding of loyalty and respect. And there was that boundary that no one was to cross. And if it was crossed, then we need to talk about it, right? And have an understanding about, how we can will that person, if they did have to step out of line, how to will them back in. And it was never, ever, Stephanie had said this in another interview, is like jealousy. There was no jealousy and no animosity amongst each other about, who had the strongest gift,
Right.
that there was competitiveness because that's just our nature, but never to cross anyone. There was no malice. We genuinely loved and cared for one another.
Yeah,
right.
We knew that.
In addition to what Mo said, sorry, Stephanie.
Go ahead,
in addition to what Mo was saying, the loyalty and respect, but also we understand each other, and in that respect, we respect each other's individually talents. So if Mo is great in this, Steph is great in this, and I'm great in that, we allow each other to do that because we're all great in something, and we merge it together. But there was a time where we went off into our own worlds and we were not communicating. Right. And what I think is so great about us is that we're supposed to be together, cosmically, universally.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be together. So when we're separated, we just found our way back, because of our foundation, our sisterhood, our love for each other, our respect for each other. We did find our way back, and the book helped us bring that back. But our listeners and you guys will understand what happened when you purchase the book, Unfinished Business. We talk about the separation, the fallout, and the different things. So, Lisa, there was a time when we were detached, doing our own things, but the love...
Not on one accord.
Yeah, not on one accord, but
it happens.
Yeah.
Life for us, life happened where it was a period, and I know Stephanie, you're gonna, chime in because Stephanie, she gonna, like you say, she that back to that end.
Yeah.
She gonna put the glue on it.
You know what I'm saying?
But really quickly, I want to say that life will happen where it's not always we're on one accord.
Yeah. And
in our book, you're going to see when that cord became a discord. Not, it still wasn't, there, I just can't say, we have feelings, natural feelings. We're going to feel some kind of way. But because of the love, I'm just telling you, we genuinely love and want the best for one another.
Yeah. And
if that means somebody has to go off and find it and we can't do it together, then that's the way that person chose to do it. It's kind of those kinds of things. It's like, I wouldn't have done it that way. You know how, I wouldn't have done it that way. Well, you're not me and I'm not you. So you kind of got it. Then you kind of become that individual because we grew up together. We grew up from young ladies to now women, So yeah, there's going to be some friction. But go ahead, Stephanie. I know you ready to go, boo.
Pull us.
Oh, you guys. No, you guys did such a great job. You guys pretty much said it. It is a hard thing to do, to be in a group and be on one accord. And I think the morals and values that we shared the same type of values and morals. And the loyalty that somebody else mentioned is that we all had that individually, because you can't teach loyalty to people. Nope. You got to have that in you. So I can't talk to Mo and say, you got to be loyal, girl. You got to do this. You can't do that with people. People it got to be in them. Yeah. So we came together. The loyalty was already in us. So that helped so much, because when people was trying to say little stuff and put us aside, we hollered at each other. We told each other what was going on. So we didn't keep that. We didn't have those secrets like that. We were so tight that we didn't get too many people that even did that to us, because that's how cold we was. Right. We demonstrated that strength together. You really couldn't. We didn't have too many people that tried to do that, to be honest with you. Very few, and I really like that we showed that strength. Yeah. We really did. But yeah, like Mo said, what's cool, when we did have this fallout, and that's what's so cool about Unfinished Business, the book. We talked about, because the person that wanted to take a break. I'm not gonna say that person is. I'd rather share that when the book comes. But I'll say, I was pissed. I'll just say it wasn't me. And I was very upset. I took that very hard when I was not ready to give up. You know what I'm saying? And so you get to see the different perspectives of why. But I get it. It was therapy. It was like therapy, this whole writing process of this book. Because, when you leave, because everything was, when you leave the game and you don't explain to your fans, to your supporters, and they don't know why, thinking that you just, they just done, what happened? Right. So that was that's one of the inspirations of what happened to MoKenStef? People were asking those questions, you know, what happened? And so it's so dope that we three get to talk about, and you get to see like people have real feelings and real journeys that they want to go on. And sometimes you ain't feeling it. It ain't, and I don't want to be real, you're not feeling their journey. You know what I'm saying? You like, what? You know what I'm saying? You trying to do this, what you do, you know what I mean? So it is such a good read, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I can't wait to be able to read it, because it's just like very few female groups, you know, have the opportunity to kind of circle back together in unison to be able to tell a cohesive story wholeheartedly. And I really believe in our industry, it's the relationships that mess everything up. It's like, if I hurt your feelings, why can't you let me know, instead of just walking away or either going behind my back and chopping it up with somebody else that don't even know what we about, don't even know what our relationship is about, you know? And that's kind of why I came up with this Rappers in the Backyard, because I'm like, we got so many giants that have been in this backyard, you know what I mean, that have planted seeds, you know, that's been watered and have grown to make this place, you know, synonymous with great work, you know, and for those different entities not to be talking because of stupid stuff and yin this and yin, I'm going like, you know what, y'all got to get it together. And I'm calling each one of y'all back to the house.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
I mean, you know, don't leave the house. If there was a piece of furniture we got in here that y'all didn't like the couch, then tell us to move it out, but do not leave.
I love this, Lisa. You know, you've been around for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And to hear your voice and to hear your stance today would have been lovely to hear it back then. You know, I'm just saying, you know, I don't know if that's where you were then, because there wasn't, in the organization of Outburst Records and Def Jam Records, you know, who was the person that was making sure the communication was not broken?
Right.
And I don't recall that there being anyone there other than, you know, us. We were very vocal. Okay, right. That was one, you could not take that away. We were very vocal. We were young ladies, and hey, maybe we could have said it differently. We didn't know how to sugarcoat that thing.
Right.
But we were not afraid, and we were also unapologetic on telling people how we felt.
Yeah.
And that communication that would, instead of getting your feeling in your feelings, you know, listen. Because we weren't, like I said, I think we were great listeners.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot of talking going on for us to hear anything. I can tell you that.
Right.
So the business aspect of the music business for me, I disliked very, very much so. And that was kind of one of the reasons that kind of propelled me to pull away, because the communication was not right. The business was not right.
Right.
So, but here we are.
Yeah, like it had to be. Yeah, like you said, like Mo, you're right. You had to be another way of, of communicating. Like missing that lack of communication, and what Lisa, how you doing it so well. It would have been nice to have that force of a voice in the business and the organization to keep it tight.
Right.
Like, people, because back then people's feelings would get hurt, and it wasn't supposed to be about getting hurt. It's about understanding and listening to one another so we can make this thing grow together, bigger, to grow together.